So who doesn't love pizza? Now today I'm going to be making 3 different kinds of pizzas. 3 very different pizzas actually. I'm going to start by making a Hoisin Chinese influenced, I guess, duck pizza. Now this pizza is delicious and really is quite a different pizza than the usual pizza you pick up from the takeaway on a Friday night. So first is duck, then I'm going to do chili and garlic prawn pizza, which is also delicious. And then we're going to finish off with a more traditional spicy pepperoni or spicy salami pizza, which is one of my favorites. So to start off with this duck pizza, I've got a duck breast sitting in front of me. It's still got the fat on, but I'm going to cut the fat off. So I'm just going to cut this away. So I'm just going to cut the fat away carefully from the meat. This can be a little bit tricky, but you can kind of pull the fat up while gently cutting between the meat and the fat. So for the duck, I'm just going to slice it into not too thin, but kind of medium thickness slices, and I'm just going to place it on the pizza. So the duck will cook in the oven with the pizza. Now I've also made my own pizza bases, which you can do if you like to. I like making nice, thin, delicious bases, and everyone likes something different, but do whatever you want to do. I know it takes a little bit more time, but okay, so now that these pieces are all cut, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of the Chinese 5 spice on top, just to give it a little bit of flavor. Now the Chinese 5 spice, for those who don't know, it's pretty much just a mixture of cloves, star anise, and cinnamon, and just a few other different spices, and it's quite a nice, it's a very Chinese spice obviously, but it flavors the duck very nicely. Okay, so I'm spreading these out. I'll just sprinkle a bit over. I get my fingers in there and spread it around. Flip it over. So for my base, I'm just going to lightly flour the bench in front of me, just so the dough doesn't get stuck to the bench. And obviously, if you're buying your own pre-made pizza bases, this is an unnecessary step. Okay, here we go. It's nicely rested, and you can see it's nice and elastic. Just going to kind of push this down. You can use a rolling pin, but I find sometimes it's easy to spread it out with your hands. The shape really doesn't matter. It can be a bit tricky to get a circle. Okay, here we go. Pulled it out, mashed it around. And we are ready to transfer it onto the baking tray. Okay, so now the pizza's nice and spread out, I'm just going to grab a little bit of olive oil and do a tiny drizzle over the pizza just like that. I'm going to grab some hoisin sauce. Now we don't want too much hoisin sauce, just a little bit on here, because hoisin sauce is very strong, it's very sweet. We don't want it to completely overpower the pizza and make it really sickly sweet. We just want a little bit on there and then spread it out. Now if you love hoisin sauce and you want to put a bit more on, you can, but remember as well, it can be nice to sprinkle a little bit or drizzle a little bit of that sauce on at the end after the pizza's cooked. I'm just going to crush a little bit of garlic here in my garlic crusher over the base. Add some great extra flavor. And now if you're using a pastry brush like this, it's probably a good idea to have a sweet and a savory pastry brush, because you don't want to be brushing garlic flavor all over your pastries. Sprinkle on some chili flakes, and this is optional. If you like chili, you can add a little bit. I love chili, so I'll add just a little bit. Chili is not the main flavor of this dish. Some salt and pepper. Okay, so the base is all done, And I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit of cheese on there just so it goes brown and kind of keeps that flavor in the base. Not too much again. The cheese, this is not a cheese pizza, or supposed to be a cheese pizza. So just a very small amount, just like this. So I'm going to put the duck on now, and I will put some green onions on, but probably save them till after the pizza's done cooking, as I like my green onions raw. So I'm just going to pop these over, just like this. If you're worried about how the duck is cooking, you obviously can cook the duck separately, but I find the many times I've done this, it's perfectly cooked on the pizza. And again, just keep in mind the thickness of the slices. If they're really thin, it's going to cook much faster and it may become overcooked. If they're very thick slices, the duck may actually not be cooked through. Okay, so the pizza's all set up and ready to go in the oven. And funnily enough, as you can see, it is quite a simple pizza, but it packs a lot of delicious flavor. So I'm preheating my oven to 220 degrees Celsius. We want the pizza to get nice and crispy. So my oven's all preheated and ready to go. And I'm gonna put this in probably about 10-ish minutes. Again, it's until it's nice and golden and cooked through, and I think you'll know when it's ready. Okay, so the pizza's out of the oven, and I have to say it smells and looks amazing. Look at all these nice bubbled up bits. Look how juicy it looks. The duck looks really, really good. And now just what we need, I have some chopped up green onions here, just to add some greenery and some nice flavor. So tonight I've just stuck to a pretty plain and simple toppings, but you can, with this pizza, add anything. You could add some mushrooms, you could add some thinly sliced zucchini or even cucumber. It can be quite nice. Really whatever you'd like to add. Some spinach, yeah, mushrooms, capsicum, whatever you want. But yeah, that's it. I'm just gonna drizzle over a little bit of this hoisin sauce, just for some extra hoisin flavor, because who doesn't love hoisin sauce? I'll try and do this without flinging it all over me, all over the kitchen. And there we go. How good does that look? So let's move on to our second pizza, the classic Italian diavola, the spicy salami with some cheese, some fresh basil, just a nice, perfect, simple, quite traditional Italian pizza. Okay, so it's pretty basic. We're just going to start off here with pouring a little bit of this pizza sauce. So it's pretty much just tomato paste with a little bit of garlic, onion, herbs. I'm just going to give it a bit of a squeeze. So I'm going to put a little bit more on than I did with the hoisin for the duck pizza. We don't need too much, but we want a nice bit of a tomatoey base. I'm also going to crush 1 garlic clove in. Again, I love my garlic. Garlic really enhances and creates a great flavor in this pizza. So I'm going to squeeze it directly over the tomato paste, just like this. And then I'm going to spread it around with the back of my spoon. So as you can see, I've pre-rolled this pizza base out. It's been in the fridge for a few days and it's fine. I used a rolling pin this time. A rolling pin is a little bit easier and you can get a better circle than just flipping it around with your fingers. But whatever you feel like. Pizza's supposed to be a bit of fun, doesn't matter how it looks. Just as long as it tastes good and you enjoy yourself making it. Okay, so that's nicely spread out. Now I'm going to come along with a little bit of chili. So I'm going to use some chili flakes. Again, this is optional. So I have some quite hot salami right here that I've got from the shops. Again, it's quite good to use a good quality, a nice tasting salami on this pizza. You don't want to use some cheap, nothing tasting salami, because the salami is quite it's the hero of the dish, I guess you could say. It's a big flavor burst. And I like to make mine a little bit hotter by adding some chili flakes. Because again, I love my chili, and this pizza is a chili pizza. Okay, I'll sprinkle of pepper and salt. And then I'm going to come along with some fresh basil from the garden. Now, I like to put the basil on the bottom. There's two ways you can really do this. You can put it on the bottom, cover it with the cheese and the salami and whatever else you're adding, or you can add it on at the end. It depends what you like. I find if you add it on under the cheese, it keeps it fresher. It doesn't burn. It keeps it all nice and moist. So I'll just spread this out. I'll rip some of the bigger ones just to spread the flavor. And the smell of the fresh basil is so nice on this pizza. Okay, so now I'm going to spread out my pieces of salami. I'll be quite generous, but I won't absolutely smother the pizza. I'll just spread these out evenly, just so each piece of pizza gets a nice bit of salami. And maybe add one just in the middle as well. Right here. Okay. So you can also add, if you like bocconcini. I'm just going to use a kind of a cheese melt, so it's a mixture of a few kinds of different cheeses. Say traditionally, you'd actually often say you'd shave some parmesan on the base, or say over the tomato sauce, and then you could sprinkle some bocconcini or mozzarella. Often mozzarella is used on top in blobs over the salami, and it melts across, but I mean, it tastes pretty similar. It's just quick and easy just to spread some cheese over after. Now, I also like to add some tomatoes because it kind of creates like a fresh taste through that quite strong salami. And that's also included. I like to use some greens on top, which is, I like to use some baby rocket. So I'm going to spread these cherry tomatoes that I've cut in half over the pizza like this. And that's it. You can see it's pretty basic topping, but again, Italian pizzas are very basic, very simple. If you want to mix it up a bit, you can add some olives, you could add some, really anything. You could add some mushrooms, some other veggies. So I'm gonna sprinkle this over the top. Now you might also notice I've actually rolled this pizza dough a little bit thinner than the duck pizza I made previously. Now, in Italy, the thickness of the dough varies quite greatly. So in the south, you'll see that it's a very thick pizza dough, and it's traditional to be really thick, whereas in the north, where my family is from, we make it really thin and crispy. And I like it thin and crispy. I don't like super thick doughy pizza. I know everyone likes different things. But I also think if the pizza's a bit thinner, it's got less carbs, less flour, maybe it's a little bit healthier. But yeah, okay. Just gonna generously spread the cheese. Again, I don't want to put too much cheese because it will overpower it and get all yucky and cheesy. Okay, so that's all on. I'm gonna do a little drizzle of olive oil. Again, I'm Italian. We love our olive oil. There we go. So my oven is all preheated, again to 220 degrees Celsius, and I'm going to pop this in the oven about 10 minutes, just until the cheese is nice and brown and the pizza's all puffy and blown up and looks delicious. Okay, so exactly 10 minutes later at 220 degrees Celsius, here we go. And how amazing does this pizza look? You can see all the nice puffy bits here and the lovely tomatoes and the cheese spread across and the bits of basil. I'm so excited to try it. But before I try it and cut it up, I'm just going to sprinkle some of this baby rocket on top. I find the richness of the salami and the cheese and everything is nicely cut out by the greenery, by this rocket bitterness flavour. So again, this is optional, but I like it. And there we go. Second pizza done. Okay, let's get on to our third pizza. So now I'm going to be making a delicious garlic chili prawn pizza. So I've already rolled my dough out, so that's all ready to go. But I'm going to make this a little bit differently this time. I'm going to actually cook my prawns separately in a little bit of garlic, olive oil, butter, and a little bit of chili. Now this is going to enhance the that strong garlicky taste even more, and I'm going to pour it over the top of the pizza once the pizza is cooked. But to start, let's just get on with the prawns and start cooking them in the pan. And remember, they don't need too long, we don't want to overcook them. I'm going to start by putting some butter in and letting that melt away with a little drizzle of olive oil. And I will crush my garlic into the pan. So I've also got some parsley here, I'm just going to cut up. The parsley will also help to flavour the prawns. Okay, so my butter's starting to melt. I'm going to put some of my chili flakes in now and some pepper and salt, just to prepare for the prawns. I won't put the prawns in until the pan's nice and hot and sizzling. So it's looking about time to chuck my prawns in. So these are all raw and they've had their shells and tails and heads taken off. So I've just added some more pepper and salt and I'll allow them to cook for about 2 minutes on each side. And once they're getting closer to being done, I will add some of my parsley on top. Now meanwhile, I'm going to start on my pizza. Because remember, I'm going to cook this mostly first before the prawns go on. So I'm going to start the same as the last one and put some tomato paste, spread it over the base. This is always a bit of a messy job. I try not to wear anything white. Okay. So I've got that there. I'm going to crush some garlic on as well. Again, it's a garlic and prawn pizza, so we can't have too much garlic. In my opinion, you can't have too much garlic. So I'll spread this out nicely over the base. Okay, so that's all spread out. I'm going to sprinkle on some more chili flakes. Just a few like that. There we go. And having a look again at my prawns, I'm ready to flip them over. Oh, they smell absolutely incredible. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my parsley and start to put that on top. And I have this small lemon here, which has seen better days. I'm just going to squeeze a bit of that on my prawns too, because lemon goes amazingly with all seafood, obviously, but to go very nicely with the prawns while they cook. Another option is to grate some lemon zest as well. Okay, so my prawns are looking nicely cooked. I'm going to transfer them into a bowl and actually save some of that nice buttery sauce and put a little bit over my pizza to add some extra flavour as I cook the base. Okay, so I've got my prawns and I'm just going to drizzle some of that sauce over my pizza. I might just add some cheese first. Just add a little bit of cheese over the pizza. And now I'm gonna grab this and just go lightly over like this. This will add some of that chili, the parsley, the lemon, all of that goodness onto the pizza itself, just to add some more of that delicious prawny kind of flavor onto the pizza as it cooks. So I'm just going to chuck on some cherry tomatoes, and I'm going to put on just a little bit more cheese. Remembering the cheese isn't the hero of this dish, of course, it's the prawns. So we want a little bit of cheese to make it nice and yummy, and you know, all that, get all that goodness there, but the prawns is what's really going to stand out. Okay, so I'm going to pop this into my preheated oven at 200 degrees Celsius for about 10 minutes, and just before it's done, I'm going to pop the prawns back on top and put it in the oven for about another minute or two. Okay, so it's out, and it looks absolutely delicious. So I had the pizza in the oven for about 8 minutes. The cheese browned nicely, so I decided to take it out. I threw my prawns on, drizzled a little bit of that nice buttery sauce that was sitting in the bowl with the prawns just on top, and I put it in back for just a minute and a half, not too long, because again, I don't want to overcook the prawns, just wanted to kind of let them cook on there just for a minute and infuse with the pizza. So you could have it like this, serve it. I'm going to put some rocket on there just to add some greenery. You don't have to, you could cut up some herbs, you could do whatever you want to do. But I feel like it's almost a bit of a healthier meal or something like that if there's some greenery on there. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed watching the 3 different pizzas that I've made. 3 very different pizzas in that matter. One a Chinese kind of very quirky pizza, being the duck. One very traditional, being the salami. And then this one as well, which is popping up, you know, all over the place in lots of different restaurants at the moment, lots of different pizza places. The garlic prawn pizza is becoming quite popular, and it is very nice, I can assure you. So I hope you try these at home, and thank you so much for watching. See you next time.